are an IoT engineer or you are working on some industrial applications or some commercial applications, so you see lot of sensors being interfaced to your boards. So one of the major interfaces used for interfacing such sensors to a microcontroller board is the analog to digital converter. So most of the analog interfaces, example, if you take a pressure sensor or a temperature sensor, those all produce analog input, and then you provide your input to this connector, and this connector would be on your board, which helps to connect the sensors to your board. And then post that you will have something called buffer or level translator. So if your voltage for example is having a wide range like 0 to 12 volts, and if your ADC supports 0 to 5 volts or 0 to 3.3 volts only, so you have to restrict the range. So in that case you use level translation circuitry in between, and then a buffer is used to help isolate the input and output, basically for matching purposes. And after that we use something called low pass filter. So this low pass filter is nothing but a simple RC circuit to disable all the high frequencies which exceed beyond the Nyquist rate. So example, let us assume you have some specific frequency, fundamental frequency, twice that frequency and above that will be eliminated using this LPF. So now this low pass filter is very important to unnecessarily to eliminate all the unnecessary signals that pass through, and then this filter output would be provided to the microcontroller ADC pin. So microcontroller ADC pin has several protection mechanisms like current limiting resistor. For example, let us assume there is no level translator here, and then you have applied a huge voltage. So in that case we have to limit the current, so that will be handled by this current limiting resistor. If you do not have a current limiting resistor in the microcontroller you selected, we have to use this externally. And then there will be ESD protection. So ESD protection would help us to eliminate any surges that come on these pins. It is inbuilt to the microcontroller. And then post that you have something called multiplexer. So multiplexer is used because if you take your microcontroller, you will have number of analog channels. So these analog channels will be routed to an internal microcontroller, whether you have a 8 channel or a 16 channel or 32 channel based on your microcontroller. So each channel would be read at once based on the multiplexer input, and then this will be passed to something called sample and hold circuit. So if you read about how an ADC sampling happens, how ADC conversion happens, basically it happens through the sample and hold circuit, where each and every sample would be taken from a given analog signal, and then it is held at that level for some time, and this forms a small digital level. So that is how the sample and hold basically works. So we will discuss about sample and hold in another video. And then it will be given to a conversion which basically outputs the converted value to a register, and we will be reading this register to see the digital value of the analog input that is provided to this ADC. So a long circuitry indeed, which starts from sensor and ends with a register. So, and adding to this, there will be analog supply which will be provided separately to power the analog peripherals on the microcontroller, and then reference voltage. So reference voltage basically acts to limit the analog value. Example, if you give a reference voltage of 3.3, you cannot exceed your analog signals beyond that. So most of the designs we use have analog supply and reference voltage the same. While we start with a low value of 0 volts, the maximum value would be 3.3 volts. So that's how it works. And then moving further, what are the major design criteria associated with the ADC? So the first thing, as we said, there is a low pass filter required. So selecting the filter is very important. So you need to know the frequencies associated and then select the filter. And one more important thing is your V reference, whatever the reference you are giving to the microcontroller should be clean. If there is a variation of VREF, there will be a variation of value that is being read by the microcontroller, and you get erroneous values. So while if a microcontroller requires low resolution reading to be done, or application demands low resolution, then in that case a slight variation may not affect, because you don't need that much accuracy. But if you need a very high resolution and all the values are important, then in that case you have to have a very good V reference so that there is no fluctuation of that voltage. And then scaling the input voltage, as we said, if the voltage exceeds 3.3 volts at the input from the sensors, example, let us assume our ADC reads only 0 to 3.3 volt, and you have a signal which ranges from 0 to 5 volts from a sensor. So in that case you have to scale down the voltage and then read it over the ADC. So scaling is also very important. And then input protection, as we said, whether it be restricting the current or restricting any pulses or restricting any higher voltages, input protection on the ADC pins is very important. And then pin selection. So again, as we discussed in the first slide, there could be 8 channel ADC, 16 channel ADC, 32 channel ADC. So your channel, if you are having only one sensor, you have to select that particular channel and then read the values. So along with that, most of the microcontrollers support single-ended as well as differential inputs for reading the analog values. So if you want to eliminate a common mode noise and have a proper ADC output, it is better to go for a differential input. But again, depends on what is the input that you are getting. So designers don't want to try out converting single to differential and then add up lot of circuitry and again do this. So if you have a differential input from the sensors itself or from the external interfaces, whatever you are connecting, so differential input need to be selected. By default, all the microcontrollers will be with single-ended. You have to configure it for differential. And then the sampling rate. So this is one of the important criteria in ADC. So sampling rate helps us improve the resolution as well. So we have written a small article on our blog, Embedded Design blog. You can just have a look. So the sampling can be varied as per our requirements, and we have to check our specific microcontroller on the maximum sampling rate that is required. And then the clock frequency selection. So internally, all the microcontroller peripherals we know works on clock, right? Whatever the conversions, whatever the flow that happens, everything is clock based. So ADC also works on a clock. So that clock need to be selected, and then resolution, as we said. So check out your microcontroller to see what is the kind of resolution that is supported, and then getting to know the registers of ADC. So you need to have a grip on all the ADC registers that are internal to the microcontroller so that you can configure your microcontroller properly. And then let us assume I have given a 2 volts at the microcontroller input. So as per the programming that we do, it is not straightforward that you just read a sample and then read the digital value and say this is equivalent to 2 volts. Definitely, considering the chain we have seen here, it's a long chain. There will be some or the other noise that will be introduced. There will be some or the other noise on the input of the connector, which could vary the analog values a little. So example, if you are giving a 2 volts, it may not be straightforward 2 volts that the microcontroller reads. It could go around 2.05, 2.1. So there could be slight variation. Again, depends on how beautiful your PCB layout is, how expertly you did it, or how the noise conditions are on your board. And then so this what we have to do is we have to read the samples over a period of time and then take an average of those samples so that you can get that value as close as possible to 2 volts. This is what the simple technique most of the design engineers around follow, such that they get an accurate result. Now going back to the configuration on MSP432, so this is a simple configuration which we are showing here. We have selected A0, that means 5.5 pin. So if you see the pinout here, so 5.5 A0. A0 is selected, analog 0 is selected as the channel to read. So for that we are setting P5 select 0, 1 to bit 5. So if you are this, you are selecting an alternate functionality. And then here comes the configuration of the ADC. So what is the major configuration that is required is whether you want to select a particular clock, or whether you want the sampling through, to happen through a specific timer, or the number of clock cycles that is required for conversion, and then actually enabling the ADC. So that is all done through control 0 here. So you can just read through the reference manual. It is very easy to understand. And then we are setting a 12-bit resolution for our requirement here. That is through control 1. So just to let you know what we are talking, we'll go to the registers, and then here we are selecting a single-ended mode. So we have talked about differential and single-ended, right? So here we are selecting single-ended mode. ADC channel 0 is selected, and then external V reference is selected using this configuration. And then finally we are enabling the conversion to happen. After that we are outputting it to a register. So now all these values would be read into a data, and then we are outputting them over the UART. So if you just see the UART, so when we enable the UART, we have just connected. What we did here is we just try to keep the microcontroller open, and you can see here when you don't connect any sensor, so we are trying to read the values here. You can see some junk values being read because the ADC terminal is not being ADC connection has not been terminated properly. So now on the board, what we are just trying to do is we are just trying to connect this to ground. You can see here now there is a proper 0 that is being read. And now next what we are trying to do is we are just taking a 3.3 volt and then trying to connect this to the microcontroller. So you can see here we are reading F0F. So as per the data sheet of MSP432, the last 4 LSB bits are 0, and then the next 3 bits are treated as the major bits that are being read, that because it is a 12-bit. So you see that the 3 bits F, F, E, sometimes because of that fluctuation of 3.3 volts you read F, F, E actually. So again, if we remove this and make it open, you can see that you read some junk value. So it is important, one of the important consideration during designs, have a proper termination over ADC to see that you read, you don't read junk values. So most of the design engineers do have a pull down or a pull up to connect the connected there, so that a proper value is being read. Now if we go to the reference manual to just understand the MSP 432, you can see here, as we talked about the multiplexer. So this is the multiplexer where all the channels have been connected, and the output of this multiplexer is connected to a sample and hold circuit, and then there is a ADC core which converts this based on the VREF that is being provided here, and this is the clock that is being input, and then the output of this will be stored in ADC 14 MEM0. So that is how the internal configuration looks like. And then if you go to the actual registers, so these are the registers of ADC. So we have talked about ADC control 0, control 1, and MEM0 to MEM31 are the 32 are the different 32 registers where all the 32 channel relevant data will be stored. So there is a individual register for each conversion. And now if you go to control 0, you can see the configurations here. So if you have to have ADC on, you must have this. To start the conversion, you must enable this. So and then if you want to pre-divide the clock, you have to select this. So again, all depends on your application and how you select this. So these are all straightforward configurations. So if you want to leave by default and then only just enable, you can do that as well. And then ADC control 1, where we talked about the other configuration, which whether it is a binary unsigned or a signed binary configuration, so that can be done using a ADC control 1. So just by configuring what we have done over here, a simple configuration can be done, and then it can be output over a serial port to see what is happening. So this is a simple MSP 432 configuration. So please try it from your side. Let us know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching our video. Please like our video if you like it, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.